Right, oh, it's on. We're up at the range, obviously. Got a special guest in here today. Dan Wood from the Hustle, hitting balls. Oh, Shang. Alright?
Hello.
Right, we're talking wedges and delivering loft to the golf ball. Dan, how you doing?
Yeah, good.
Dan's all about from the Hustle Golf Club today. We're just doing a bit of mucking around. Oh, move that. Dan, take it away. So we're hitting some balls here. Hit a low one. Tell me how you hit a low one. So we've got, what you got there? 58?
58, yeah.
Okay.
So we're going to try and keep the dynamic loft going down. We're going to try and keep the body going with it for me.
Right, okay.
And
how do you do that? We were just talking there just now about how you approach different trajectories with the same club.
So I use 58 for pretty much everything around the green.
Right.
Now, it's something I grew up with. It's what I practiced as a kid, so I always do it. You know, for other people it's about changing club, etc. But for me, I like to work my ball position, I like to work my weight and more left side or maybe a bit more neutral, and then I really like to work how much handle lean I'm carrying through the shot.
Right, okay.
To really work that. So maybe my low one I might see it. I definitely don't want to see these huge angles, because we're going to get that one. Your room for error is huge, and you're going to get some inconsistency from this.
Let's hit a couple.
So just back of centre, a little bit of shaft lean, 60% of my left side, and I really feel like I keep that loft through the golf ball on this one, and that gives my slightly lower flighted one.
Okay. Very good. Your thoughts are on, to get a lower trajectory with such a lofted club, is more forward shaft lean at impact?
A little bit. Certainly what I set at address, so if I set this angle at address,
yep,
I want to try and maintain that, really working my weight, keeping going that way.
Let's see your address position again then.
So if I'm here,
yep. So you're trying to get back into that position.
Get back into there. Yeah, I don't want to get too much ahead of it. We're going to get that angle of attack too steep for me. Too much divot. I'm not going to spin as much as I want.
So you preset it at impact, address, sorry.
Yep.
And then return to it.
And then and I'm just going to use my body, get more weight in my left side.
Sound.
Keep that loft working down for the low checky one.
Excellent.
And it's a lot cleaner it used to be
That's
than that
good.
Really steep angle of attack one. I'm just keeping it.
And there's very little divot there, isn't
yeah,
there?
just shallow divot
Very
strikes. Because again, probably the way everyone used to be, ball back, club working vertically down on there.
That's right.
And we're getting that thumpy one, which you can hit fantastic shots from. Give me 10 shots, I want shallow for me.
I'll hit one. So fine, so I'm playing the same shot. I look at it slightly differently. You set yourself up with a slight bit of forward shaft lean, returning to that as the body turns through, minimal divot, nice. I think about release patterns, so I think about when I play the shot, I set myself up very similarly. I don't think so much about impact, but I think about a position post-impact when my club face is fully turned over.
Okay, yeah.
So I think about, if I can do that, then when I'm coming through, I'm taking loft off and hit it with a closing face.
So closed on the follow through, closed the impact.
Absolutely, so I get into this position or that position halfway through, or when the club gets back to horizontal.
Lovely.
Very little divot, wee checky one. Same outcome, exactly the same thing we're both doing. I watched you in the follow through and you get into that position as well, but we both look at it in different fashion.
Think about different ways. Yeah, I never think about that position, but I feel it impact, and it's just what you've grown up learning, what you feel. Definitely, yeah.
When I coach, I look up the line. So you're hitting towards me, I look up the line, I see what sort of positions people get into in here. And they get in all sorts of funky positions, and if I can identify what's going on there, then we can relate it back to impact.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, 100%. A high one.
High one, yeah.
So up the left nostril.
So this one we're going to see the ball slightly forward now. I maybe sort of talk about 5 iron, 4 iron sort of ball position.
Yep.
So much more almost just on left chest.
Okay.
I'm going to open that club face a little bit, give myself some more loft and a bit more bounce.
Absolutely.
And then from there really I try and apply the same sort of idea, sort of longer, lower angle of attack into there. Really trying to feel the club getting behind me a little, then use my body to turn it, rather than again the old way I used to stand open, work the club down, that creates loft and spin. We found through launch monitor that you get a bit more spin being a bit shallower, strike lower in the club face.
It's interesting what you said there about trying to just address the ball.
Yep.
And then bring the club up. You said you bring it a little bit more behind you.
Yeah, we want to get more in
here. So you're in there, so you're attacking movement inside. And earlier on we were chatting, you talked about you feel as though the club takes the long route.
Yeah, so think about this long arc,
the
the hands take the short arc, the hips take the arc in there, and from here I simply want this club to take the longer route round me, rather than this sort of axe motion that we often see.
Right, let's do it.
Okay, so
I like that, I love that. Superb. Very good. So if I just look at the camera, Dan's talking about the club being behind you, that'd be right?
Yep.
Hands taking the short route round here, which lets the club head take the
route.
long route. Excellent.
Yeah.
Very good. So your shallow angle attack, balls popping up there.
The body has
Piece
to,
of cake.
the body's got to do some work there, because if we get the club here and go this way, we're going to get in all sorts of positions.
Absolutely.
Might
Absolutely.
get the old hosel rocket there, Steve.
What's my camera? Very good.
Nearly
Brilliant.
nearly got the roof.
Brilliant. Right, I'll have one. So that's interesting. So again, we look at it differently. You're much better than I am. However, I'll get you on this one. So same idea, I open the face. I also lower the hands a little bit, bring more bounce in, so try to help with
First
that.
point to the right, you bring it back to the left.
Absolutely. Again, I think of post-impact on my release pattern. So before my short one, I was releasing with a full roll. This time I feel as though it's a reverse roll, so the club face points back towards
keep
me.
them off on the club.
Yeah, so I'm there instead of here. So now, similar sort of idea, I take the club back behind me, coming through, leaving the right hand a little bit more underneath, face back towards me. So I've released it totally differently. The right bit and watch the roof here. And there, there. Club's pointing back
Nice
towards
one,
me
yeah.
and nip it off there. So if I'm going for a mid trajectory, I would do something in between the two.
Yeah.
So I would go from here for low, there for lofted, and then 45 degrees on the way through, which is a mid roll. So I had a full roll for low flight, reverse roll for my lofted one, then in between the two would be 45 degrees, which would get me a more natural ball flight.
Yeah, like it.
Right, hit some more.
Okay, what's the flight?
Flight we're after, Dan, is a low one. 50-yard low shot. Brilliant. So you can hear Dan strike. There's no, look at the spin on that. There's no, that was good. there's no chunkiness there at all. It's very, very pure.
I think that's key to get away from that idea that slamming the club vertically down is going to create more spin. I think that was a myth, and launch monitors have proved that, you know, deflection into the ground and things, we're going to get more spin. Just clipping it a little bit lower in the face, you're going to get more spin. That's where the CG placement is.
Absolutely. I remember watching something on YouTube a long time ago. Eduardo Romero was talking about it, and he was talking that people used to think when you come down, ball in tough to get loads of spin on these short shots. That's not the way to do it. Launch monitors totally changed it. The shallower angle of attack, the more you get the body out of the way and shallow that out, the much more spin you put on the shot.
It's definitely something you see on television now, is the lack of divots around the green. The guys are just clipping it away, you know, just brush their foot down, tap it down, off they go, rather than collecting that big kipper and putting it back in.
So it's much, they bruise the tough now, don't they?
Yeah, exactly. Using the back edge, and that word bounce probably wasn't talked about 10 years ago as much as it is nowadays.
Yeah, so it's the bounce angle is obviously the more bounce, the more chance you're going to use the back edge. I think of it more as grind, so there's another way we both think of something slightly different. I try and use the grind, so I'm using different parts of the club, which is of course the bounce as well. When I talked earlier on about lowering the hands as well, I've got a bit more ground off the back here to allow that to happen. And as you say, back in there, turning through, leaving the face towards me.
Beautiful.
Nip it off. Dan, thanks.
Good.
Brilliant.
Brilliant.
Super. That's it in.
Straight in.
So Dan, the more we chat about that, you just mentioned there just now, just off camera, that the position I get into when I follow through with the full roll, with the toe passing the heel, is a position that you do get into.
Yeah. No, it's not something I think about when I do it.
Exactly, yeah.
But again, if I hit that low sort of chasey one that we talked about, and I just think about looking back, I can clearly see toe ahead of heel in that position there.
Yep.
So, you know, we're both doing the same thing, just maybe thinking differently. I've always thought more about my impact position than doing that, but you know, it doesn't. It's very much that draw sensation, getting that toe to release, closing the face down and getting that loft a little bit lower.
Perfect. So that's
what I like.
As you say, a draw sensation. So it's all feelings. We're all doing the same thing, but we perceive it and we look at it in different fashions.
Yeah.
So that's why coaching is so different, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I coach it different than you, and you explain it different than I do, and you play it different than I do, but we're actually all doing the same thing. But it's all just different feelings and different emotions.
Definitely.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Nip it off.
Beautiful.
Nip it off.
Beautiful.
Nip it off. Dan, thanks.
Good.
Brilliant.
Brilliant.
Super.